So today I'm going to show you all the mandalas that I made in April. I cannot believe these are already Aprils, but that's what they are. For the month of April, I needed color back in my life. If you remember, for March, I did all black and white, so there was no color at all, and I just needed some back. So at the end of March, I made a bunch of cards with cantilever color bursts again, and I really love them, and they're so pretty, and I made sure to not make them as dark as some of the previous ones had been. So I'm just gonna go straight through them. I'll make notes of any things I particularly love, and we'll keep going. Once again, for this month, in March, I did 1, 2, or 3. For April, I just did straight up one mandala a day. That was it. They were all the same size. That's it. And it was very relaxing and fun. Love this ring around the outside. This one's a little more detailed. I am learning that I like bolder lines because they show up, and this one, it's harder to see things. And my curly little hats. I don't know why I think of them as hats, but I do. Another one with a lot of detail, and then I have some dots in here, 1, 2, and 3, and they're fun. This one was the first one where I was like, yes, bold lines, I love them. But I actually like the combination of bold lines that are accentuating parts with the narrower lines that are providing the detail. So I think that's pretty cool. And this is a new thing that I did this center. Really enjoying looking at figuring out ways to layer things and fill in that I haven't used before. Back to some good old cross hatching for the middle of this one, and then some lines and circles. And I was doing a challenge. Oh, pretty. I love the color on this one, but again, I wish there had been bolder lines. In fact, right now I want to get out my pens and accentuate some of these lines. I'm not going to do it, but I want to. And here I did some, oh goodness, my cat's deciding to knock things over right now. Nothing important though, so I'm going to keep going. I was playing a little bit with not connecting things. Really enjoyed that. And I also really enjoy figuring out ways, I think I've mentioned this before, to kind of like continue the lines out. Oh, and this one, I had never done something like this before, where I have a bigger dot here, and then they're all smaller dots, and then some of them are smaller circles. A lot of fun. And I also love the color combo here. This red does not read well on camera. I'm not sure why, but it tends to be a lot cooler than it appears to be on camera. Did some, what's it called? With the dots. Anyway, stippling here to provide shading. Really enjoyed that. It is time consuming, but sometimes it's fun. I did it again here. Oh, and I love how I did. She really wants attention. Ampersand is really seeking my attention right now. She'll get it in a few minutes. I like how this one is just circle, 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 circle. Like they're not invading each other. Sometimes I love that, but this one is interesting to me in that it's very regimented. Oh, and I love how this turned out. I had no intention to make this look like a flower, but the colors with the yellow and green and it being springtime, it just lends itself well. And I really enjoyed doing this like topper to the lines. Okay, I don't know how to describe any of these things. I should come up with names. And I do sometimes. More bold lines. So the thing I love about this is the exact opposite of what I loved about this, where it's just like circle, 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 circle that are kind of like disconnected. In this one, every single thing is connected. Like you could draw a line from the inside to the outside that would be completely connected. And I just love what this bold line around the edge and then into these. I love what that does for the design, and it works perfectly with this color. This one kind of makes me think of like a spaceship or something, and this center was really fun, and I should play around with it a bit more. I don't always have the designs in front of me, so sometimes I just forget things, and so I resort to whatever I've done before. Another good color combo. And if you haven't noticed the pattern and you don't pay attention to me on other social medias, I did do a rainbow pattern throughout this. I'll make sure to put a picture of that at the end. More bold lines. Really, this is only 3 sections. That's it. But it's so pretty and I love it. This one has daintier lines, which I like, but because it's on a lighter background, they're much easier to see. I do like how close they are and how the dot at the top of each of these lines is there, but it's not too in your face. And then I also did something in here that made it kind of look like a spider web. Instead of just doing lines out as I normally do, I did lines out. I cross-hatched inside and it kind of looks like a spider web, and I love it. Again, I of course love to make things spiral, but with this one I was actually trying to make it look like, so this goes and connects out to this. So as you can see, this is shaded in exactly the same area that this is shaded. So I kind of wanted it to look like this was laying on top, but somehow it actually looks like it is recessed to me. But I still like it. I like how it turned out. And I love what using the compass does to help my lines. This one, so every single one of these sections has a different pattern. Some of them look very similar, and I just tilted it a different way. But I just had so much fun with this. And I had already gotten the flower thing going in the middle. And I think, again, yellow seems to inspire me to do flower-like patterns, especially sunflower-like patterns, which happens to be my favorite flower. I like this one. I had some trouble deciding what I was going to do. And then I had finished up the outside with just these circles. And then as soon as I put the 2 small dashes in between them, I knew it was done. It was perfect. This is one of my favorites. I love this intricate pattern that I did with the varying levels of string art, as I like to call it. Did make one little mistake. I drew the line back that way, but I like how this outside, it makes me think of the ocean, like fins on a fish, but it also makes me think of tires. It makes me think of a lot of things, and I've used this pattern in several more mandalas that aren't part of my monthly project, because as I've said before, I just can't stop myself. Even when I try to do other art, I just end up drawing more mandalas. With this one, I used a tactic that I used in March as well on one mandala, where I literally made very small sections that were evenly spaced the same size, and then drew patterns within each of them, just small patterns. And doing this somehow always makes me think of a globe. That gets broken a little bit just by having the wavy outside or the angled outside instead of a round one, but it still makes me think of like an Earth or a planet. Have no idea why. Oh, look, my other cat's coming to visit. They really like my light for some reason. Stop doing that. You're in the way. Okay, so this one was totally unintentional, but by the time I got to the end, I saw that there were these little patterns that kind of looked like awkward hearts, but then when I filled in bits of it, it looked like foxes, and I had so much fun with that. And of course it was red, so it was kind of the perfect color, though I guess orange might have made more sense. This one, I must have had a day that I didn't want to think too much, and I just did exactly the same pattern in 2 rows. But that shows you really like how different the same pattern can be and what a different impact it can make depending on how far apart the points are. And then I used a bunch of dots and then some lines. I do like how this one is pretty much okay, cat. Okay, some editing's gonna have to happen there. I had a little cat problem. She doesn't know when to move. She actually managed to stop the recording. Right. This one turned out really cool. So again, I used exactly the same pattern in 2 rows, but I just altered which direction they were going. It turned out so cool. And then I just filled in these spaces with a little bit of cross hatching and then did these outside. And so in my brain, it's going zigzag, zigzag, though on the outer ring, it might not be completely obvious that's what's happening because you could look at it either way, but in my brain, it always sees it going that way. So yeah. Oh my, the cats. This green color, I'm not usually drawn to green, but I do really like it. This is a very simple one. I don't know what that day was, but when they're simple, usually it's because I'm frazzled. This one, I haven't been playing much with white space lately, but I did play with it a little here because I like how it ends up looking like a flower. Another one, I actually recreated this one 100% as the center of a larger mandala that I did, just because I loved how much it turned out. So I did this, all of these different patterns, and then I outlined some of them with a really thick line so that it's all connected by these really thick lines, and then you have the thinner detail lines inside. And I just think it looks so neat. And then I didn't intend for these to be hearts, but then they looked like hearts, so I decided to put in the little sparkle that you sometimes see on cartoon hearts. This one has a little bit of a optical illusion. Not a ton, but just a little bit on this outside ring where I did the lines down. So it kind of looks like tables or boxes or something that are tilted to the side. Getting almost to the end. Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize how similar this one looked to the other one I did. I mean, I guess there are pretty significant differences, but also seems very similar. So sometimes I think the colors really impact what I decide to do with the different mandalas. And sometimes the colors, you might not be able to tell whether that's yellow and orange or orange and yellow, but I just get to decide. Another really simple one. These are some of my favorite go-to motifs that don't take a lot of thought, so I probably was having a day. Again, used some dark outlining in a couple of places. I kind of wish I had done it here, but I had probably drawn in those dots already, so I couldn't. Yeah. Oh goodness, I got creative with this pattern, whatever I was doing. I can't even. It would take me a while to figure out what lines I used there. And this was the last one for the month. Not my favorite one for the month. And I've been hanging my favorites at work, so I actually do need to go back and figure out which ones are my favorites. It's usually not too hard. I do a little contest, get them down to my favorite 9 or 10, and then I go from there and decide how many I'm going to hang up. This month I'm going to choose one of each color because I did rainbow, I did purple, blue, orange, yellow, red, green. Yeah, those are the 6. So I'm just going to pick one that I love of each color so that I have a rainbow on my door at work. Anyway, so that is all. If you want to see them daily as I post to Instagram, my name over there is Cagelio. You can see it on the screen now. I hope you join me and come back next time. Have a great day.